Ma'am Elenita. It's me again, Hazel Hartby Quinto from BS Ed Sciences 1A. And today I will share to you what I have learned in Module 7, How Social Media Can Make History by Clay Shirky. There was this story by Clay Shirky. It was presidential election held in November, and people most likely learned about it via the news. There was also concern that voting suppression could occur in several sections of the country. As a result, a plan was devised to record the vote. Individual citizens with phones capable of recording images or video would chronicle their polling stations looking for any kind of voter suppression and uploading the information to a central location, and that this would serve as a form of citizen observation, with persons not just casting individual votes but also assisting in the general integrity of the vote. As a result, this design presumed that we're all in it together. It is a social capital that matters, not technological capital. These tools aren't socially engaging until they become technologically uninteresting. It's not until the shiny new instrument appear that their applications begin to spread throughout society. It's when they may be taken for granted by everyone because with the rise of social media, creativity may occur everywhere and people might take for granted that we're all in this together. Consequently, they were starting to witness a media environment where innovation is happening everywhere and migrating from place to place. That's a significant change. To put it another way, they were living through the highest growth in expressive capabilities in human history. That is a significant claim. The famous printing press, movable type, oil-based inlays, that whole complex of innovations that made printing possible. Then a couple of 100 years ago, there was innovation in two-way communication, conservation media. First the telegraph, then the telephone. Finally, around a century ago, the humming of the electromagnetic spectrum to transmit sound and images over the air, radio, and television. This is how the media landscape looked in the 20th century. This is how those of us of a certain generation grew up and are used to. However, there is an odd asymmetry here. The same media that excels at starting dialogue struggles to form groups, and the media which excels at forming groups struggles to initiate conversation. In this world, if you want to have a conversation, you must do so with another person, whether you're using a broadcasting tower or printing machine to address a group, you get the same message and deliver it to everyone in the group. The media landscape in the 20th century looked like this. That's when things change. The internet is the only media in history to have built-in support for both groups and discussion. Unlike the phone, which provided a one-to-one connection, and television, radio, periodicals, and books, which provided a one-to-many connection, the internet provides a many-to-many connections. For the first time, media is naturally adept at facilitating these kind of discussions. One of the major adjustments is this. The second major change is that when all media becomes digital, the internet becomes the mode of conveyance for all other media, which means that phone calls, publications, and movie will all migrate to the internet. As a result, every media is exactly next to another. To put it another way, media is becoming less and less of a source of information and more of a site of coordination, since group of people who see, hear, watch, or listen to something may now congregate and converse with one another. The third major shift is that former audience members, as Dan Gilmer refers to them, can now also be producers rather than consumers. Every time a new consumer enters the media environment, a new producer enters as well because you can consume and generate using the same equipment, phones and laptops. It's as if you got a free printing press when you bought a book. It's as if you had a phone that could convert into a radio if you press the correct buttons. That represents a significant shift in the media landscape. It's not just a case of having internet or having none. We've had the internet in public for almost 2 decades and it's continually evolving as media gets more social. Even among groups that are well versed in the use of the internet, patterns are continually shifting. We live in a world where media is more global, social, omnipresent, and inexpensive. Most enterprises that aim to communicate with the outside world to a diverse audience have become accustomed to this shift. The audience has the opportunity to participate in the discussion. However, as most people do, you can grow accustomed to it, but that's not the truly unusual transformation we're witnessing because there are a lot more amateurs than professionals, and because the size of the network, the complexity of the network is actually the square of the number of participants. The network, when it grows large, grows very, very large. Professionals produce much of the media available for general consumption until the last decade. Those days are gone forever. The green lines are now the source of free content. The media world that we knew, as comfortable as it was and as simple to cope with theoretically as the idea of professionals broadcasting messages to amateurs, is eroding. In a world where media is global, social, omnipresent, and inexpensive, and where the former audience is becoming full participants, media is becoming less and less about generating a single message for individual consumption. It's becoming more used as a means of facilitating group formation and support. And the decision we must make for anyone with a message they want to be heard any place on the planet is not whether or not we want to operate in that media environment. This is the current state of the media. How can we make the most of this media even if it means changing how we've always done it? So, as part of this world, with evolving media platforms, we should be responsible enough on how we use it rightly. So that would be all. Thank you.